And there was my basic picture. Now I thought, okay, so now we need to add the final touches to it. So I did that move again, merged all those layers there. And I'm going to try to do this. So you see, this is where I start adding all the things. So to this layer, the first thing I did was add a color lookup adjustment layer. Those are here. You go down and you choose color lookup, and you get this drop-down menu here, and you get all kinds of selections. And I started with, I think it was Foggy Night. So I had Foggy Night, and there's what you get. But in my case, after I got Foggy Night, I changed the blend mode to overlay. There, that changes it like that. And then I adjust the opacity way down to 40% or something. There, so you see before and after, keep making it more and more night-like, I think. And then I wanted to put some light in the windows. So now I'm going to add this one, a solid color layer. And you get this color picker here for your color layer, and I just choose something in the yellow range. Something maybe here. And select OK. And then I turn the mask from white to black I do Command I, but there's different ways to do it. So now the yellow color is still there, but you can't see it. And what I do is where I want to put light, for instance, I want to put light in these windows, I will select a rectangular marquee tool up there, that box there. Select a window like this and do Shift F5. You get your fill with box, and you can select whatever color you need. In this case, I want to fill it with white because the mask is black. You just do that and say OK, and there's the light. So I went through and lit up several of the windows. And you can see, and I also, well, before I do that, I'll show you how I did these guys. Then I changed this to elliptical marquee tool and lit up these lamps. So the lights on the porch, draw a little circle. Same thing, Shift F5, fill it with white, and it lights up those things. So I went around and did that with all the lights and the windows. Let's get rid of that. And there they are. And then I've got to kind of make it look a little more realistic. So I reduced the opacity down to 37% because I didn't want it too bright. So there's my first pass. And then to make them look a little more realistic, I added a second color fill layer. Let's disable that layer mask. This time I used a little orangish color, and using the same process. Well, let's make that. You can see I put little halos around each of those things. Same way, draw a circle, use the black layer mask, then fill the circle with white, and it shows through. You can see the before and after. So you get a little more glow on all those things. And I set the blend mode on this to linear dodge and reduce the opacity. That one's down to 27. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do with that. Leave that one where it was. Need those brighter like that. So the next thing Well, maybe it does. I guess it does look better down here. There. All right. Next thing I wanted to do, I want to put in some lightning coming up from the upper right-hand side. So now I add another color fill layer. This is kind of a white blue layer. Normal blend mode, reduce that opacity to 15%. Yeah, right around there. And then just using a big brush, like this and this, and a big brush like about that, and make it a soft brush. I'd go around and click over on this area. You can see on the mask here, I filled some of those areas with white. That one's the opposite. Until I lightened up this side a little bit so that when I added my lightning, it would look like it lit up that side of the house. And then lightning, I've got a bunch of overlays that I've saved pictures of lightning, and I can make my own, but you can get better ones on the internet sort of pre-made. So there's what my lightning looks like, and it's like that model. It's on black, it doesn't look so good, but when you change the screen mode, or the blend mode to screen, all the black disappears, and now all you're left with is the lightning. And then you can move your lightning around, and you can do Command T to change the size of it. And then you can move it where you want it. So I ended up with something like that. There's what I ended up with. And lighting up my house a little bit. This one needs to be reduced somewhat. There we go, like that. And then that was sort of the final picture there, except that when I was getting ready, I thought it needed to have one more adjustment, needed to be lightened up a little bit. So I put a curves layer on it and lightened it up. But there is it. That's what I did with it. So I started with that house, made all those various adjustments, and finished like that. So now, just to show you what you can do with a similar, I use that same house, but I did use a kind of a different treatment on it. I used it and I made this out of it. So a little more whimsical. So it's the same house, but I kind of liquefied it, put some other layers on it, stuck it in a tree in a picture with a tree that I'd taken, and this is the texture from a foreground from one of my Joshua Tree pictures, and this is some fog that I made. This path I took from an ad for a paver company, and here's some of those luminar birds. So that's that. So there it is. That's what I did.